making, and let me tell you, the smell of country bread baking in the oven, oh, nothing beats it. I started off by making an Italian classic, rustic ciabatta bread. Then I moved on to a French classic, pain de campagne, with its great crust and soft interior. But now it's time to step things up with a German-inspired seeded rye bread. Oh, this has such complexity in its flavor and in its texture. And part of building on that texture is by making a soaker. I've got 3 cups of day-old bread, and I'm going to cover that with hot water. I'll just let this bread soak while I work on the other components. Like the other 2 breads I've made, I start my seeded rye bread with a starter. 1 1/4 cups of lukewarm water, and because this is a rye bread, the starter has rye flour, 300 grams. Now, I'm taking advantage of the levain, the French starter that I had on hand. 2 tablespoons is all you need. And making a starter is a great place to start building in flavor. So I'm going to work in some spice flavor with 3 grams of ground black pepper and 1 1/2 grams of ground cardamom. Grab a wooden spoon and give this a little stir. I'll give it a cover, and I let this sit on the counter for about 24 hours. And once again, I never stop being amazed by the transformation. Look at what happens to that starter. It comes right up. At this point, I'm ready to make the dough as a whole. So I use all of the starter. For this particular rye bread, I don't use 100% rye flour. That makes a loaf that is really dense and not the kind that's ideal for sandwiches, and that's the style I'm after right now. So I do need to use bread flour, 750 grams. And to compensate for the fact that there is a lower amount of protein or gluten in the bread, I do add extra yeast, 8 grams. Now I'll add my bread from my soaker, and you want to squeeze it out gently. It's pretty squishy. And when I'm making a rye bread, I believe in building in flavor wherever you can. So instead of just adding water, why not add flavor with coffee? I'll top up this 1/2 cup of coffee with 1/2 cup of the liquid from the soaker. And I'll pour that in. Now, I'm adding 2 tablespoons of blackstrap molasses. And lastly, my salt, 15 grams. Now this is ready for the mixer. I want to mix this on low speed for about 5 minutes to evenly blend all the ingredients. While my dough mixes, I'll measure out the ingredients for the seeds that I'm going to add. 150 grams of pumpkin seeds, 150 grams of sunflower seeds, and 40 grams of flaxseed. There we go. And in addition to that, I have wheat berries. This adds such a great texture to the bread, really building on the flavor. Now I'll mix this on low speed for another few minutes. As you can see, it's definitely a very soft dough. There we go. This dough only takes 30 minutes to proof. Because I use that full quantity of the starter, it just doesn't take as much time to develop the flavor. Which is why it looks like this after just 30 minutes. So as you tip it out of the bowl, what you want to do is give it a dusting with flour, flatten out the dough to about the length of your loaf pan, and then you start at one end and roll it. And then you just drop it into the pan so that the seam is at the bottom. Now the other one. Flatten it out and drop it into your pan. Now it's time for the bread to take another little nap, this time an hour. Tuck it in with a little tea towel, and then look at what it comes up to after just an hour. So to promote an even browning, I brush the top of each loaf with an egg wash. Just a little sprinkle of each on top. The final step is to score the bread. I just go right down the middle. Because of the style of the bread, it takes a lower temperature oven, 350, and I give it about an hour to bake. Oh, this bread just looks gorgeous. It's completely cooled now, but I love how it browns on the surface. The seeds toast, just giving you a little hint as to what's inside. It slices so easily, and you can really see all the seeds in there. You know what else I like to use this bread for? My Southwest rarebit. Melted cheese sauce oozing off the sides. Oh, what a treat, especially late night.
They may not look like much,